Jim here with a quick hitter thought for you around making sales in tough times. One quick thing to think about is find ways to make it easier for people to pay you. When you can make it easier for people to pay you, it also makes it easier for them to say yes and find a reason to do business with you. So it's upon you to be as creative as you need to be, find alternative ways to pay you, maybe extended payment plans, find alternative funding sources, which of course we have some that we can share with you. Find other ways to get more recurring billing. What can you do on a recurring basis versus a bigger upfront, right? Find ways to get things out of, break up your payments so that people can pay you over time as results come. So then you're more invested in their outcome and they win as well. Find ways to be creative, give them easier ways to pay you, and you'll be able to help make more sales in uncertain times. Hey, rock stars, welcome back to another amazing episode of the Sales Team Ready podcast, where everything is possible, where there's no such thing as limits or obstacles, only opportunities. Hey, that there is nothing but the mountaintop to be reached. This is the podcast for people who know that they're sold out for something more, major impact, and desire great freedom, right? For those that desire the mountaintop more than anything. I'm your host, Jim Padilla, and today we're going to be talking about growth and profitability strategies and how you can use your business to make a lasting impact in your community. And if you stick around to the end, we're giving away gifts and bonuses that would help your scaling journey. So make sure you listen all the way to the end for some details, right? Before we start, right, in the episode, I want you to go to my website, go to jimp360.com. That's my personal website. I want you to connect with me. Okay, jimp360.com. Okay, whether you want to connect me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, you can get access to all my social medias, videos, promotions, podcast episodes, as well as upcoming books, everything that is us and me, right? You can reach me any way you need to, jimp360.com. Make sure you hit that button. When you do, put the contact button and reach out, shoot me a text, let me know that you're here and see what we can do to be able to help you get clear on your sales journey, right? And share with me what your thoughts and takeaways are from the episode, because I'm always looking to serve you better and make sure that I can speak to what you need. Today's guest is a business growth expert, investor, profit engineer, and a mediocre, in his words, salsa dancer. He is the founder of Fearless Impact, a global movement of entrepreneurs and professionals who want to make a positive impact in the world. Amen, right? He is also a results-oriented small business marketing strategist at a Money Mouth Marketing, an Atlanta-based internet and social media marketing company. So talk about growth and profitability strategies that will help you become a profit engineer yourself, and how giving back you can use your business to change the world. Let's dive in. Here's Antonio Thornton. All right. So thanks so much, Antonio, for being here. And I know everybody's going to be excited for the conversation that we're having today. Say hello to the Sales Team Ready audience, and let's dive into some good conversation.
Yeah, man, I'm really excited. I'm so glad to be here, Jim. So thanks so much for having me.
Excellent. So we gave the formal introduction, but why don't you just give us your version? What who's Antonio, and what are you up to today, and how'd you get here?
Yeah, so I like to say, an entrepreneur my entire life. I started selling candy in high school at the ripe young age of 13. But I actually started my first legitimate business at 17, selling pagers and cell phones. And we called them beepers at the time. And I hope I'm not giving away my age, but probably I am. But that really gave me a taste of what it was like to be an entrepreneur. And I really never looked back. I've only had 3 jobs, got fired from all 3 of them. Not because of being a bad worker, but because I just didn't fit into that corporate mold. And over the years, I've learned a lot about entrepreneurship, a lot about sales, and which has kind of led me to where I am now, being the creator of the Time Bank GPS system. What I've found is not really about just making a bunch of money. It's about also having a life, because what I discovered over the years is that most entrepreneurs go into business for the purpose of financial and time freedom. But ironically, their business is the thing that actually robs them of time and financial freedom. They find themselves working, 10, 12, 14, sometimes 16 hours a day, Their health is suffering. Their relationships are suffering. And that's one of the things that I really love about Time Bank is that it's not just about making more money. It's about really having more life. So, my years of going through what I went through has really gotten me to where I am and why Time Bank is so important for me.
Got it. Yeah. Everything you said literally is 100%. I check all those boxes, right? I was the entrepreneur in school. I sold everything from book reports but I was also crowdsourcing all the time because I was great at writing the book reports just because I like to be creative, but not because I was a good student. And then I noticed other people didn't. So I had other guys who would write their book reports for them. They pay me and I pay them and I get to, I keep the difference. I've had this kind of a business model all my whole life.
Right.
And then I go to the 7-Eleven and buy candy bars for a quarter. I crush aluminum cans, go down to the Safeway, cash them in, take that cash, go to 7-Eleven, buy as many candy bars as I could for a quarter, and I go to school and sell them for $1. And that was when I was in 5th grade. It's like the entrepreneur, the hustle was always there.
Right.
So
Right.
Totally
Absolutely.
We were just talking a minute ago before we started rolling. Like you said, every entrepreneurs get into business for freedom and impact. Typically, those are the two main things. Almost nobody got into business to run a business.
Right.
They all got into business because they wanted the freedom or they wanted impact, or both. And
Right.
then usually the business robs them of the ability to do both at any great measure. So as we say around here, most people design a business to deliver a product, they didn't design a business to scale themselves into freedom, right? They didn't design a business to generate revenue. So I want to talk about what's going on in the real world because I don't ever want to appear tone deaf. And everybody listening here is dealing with life, reality. Just came out of we could call a pandemic or whatever you want to call it. It was 2 years of uneasiness.
Right.
We're heading into a source of uncertain times with finances. How does a company remain profitable when winter's coming?
It's funny. I've got a sales letter that I'm currently writing, and that's the very first line of the sales letter is that winter is coming. And I've got the White Walkers gif in there as well. And I, as you said, not to sound tone deaf, because these are real things that entrepreneurs and business owners are dealing with. But the reality of it is that you don't deal with it in any other way than you would otherwise. Is that you evaluate what's going on around you and you make the necessary adjustments. You don't sell your products and services the same way, let's say, as you would, around Black Friday. You don't sell your products and services the same way throughout the year. So you make those adjustments as you see things changing. You change yourself. And that's one of the things I kind of talk about in the scaling it with Time Bank is looking at the environment, looking at your customer base and maximizing profitability and maximizing the way you're doing business. So one of the things that I've talked to entrepreneurs about is taking their pricing model and being able to add recurring billing to their businesses. I talk about adding creative payment options to their businesses as well. So, and what this does is this allows the people who are coming in the door for you to lower the barrier of entry. So when you can take a thing that was delivered in one way and shift the way that it's delivered, again, it could be a complete game changer. So like, for example, when you think about the shift with, I'll give you an even better example I was going to give. The difference between Netflix and Blockbuster. A lot of people like to use that example and they say, oh, Netflix really kicked Blockbuster's butt, by providing a better variety of things and shipping them to your houses. Like, here's the deal. No one ever complained about going down to the video store. No one ever complained about that. That was not the issue. Netflix kicked Blockbuster's butt for one reason and one reason only: MRR, monthly recurring revenue. So here's what would happen with Blockbuster. If someone wanted to watch a couple of movies, they go down to Blockbuster and they watch those couple of movies. Now, if they were traveling or they didn't want to watch a movie, they just didn't go. But with Netflix, you're paying every single month. At the time, it was $7.99, and then now they're up to what, $50 a month? They keep jumping up. But the key to Netflix's domination of Blockbuster was shifting the business model. to a monthly recurring revenue versus the one-off scenario that Blockbuster had.
Right. So if I'm
So
paying for them, if I'm already paying $7.95 a month, I'm not going to run down to Blockbuster. I'm automatically going to go onto a Redbox, onto Netflix and redeem my monthly fee. Right. I already
absolutely,
paid them, so I got to
absolutely.
use them.
And here's the real beauty of it. Whether you rented a movie or not, you still paid that monthly recurring revenue with Netflix.
Right.
That is what made the biggest difference. So they shifted it to a subscription model. And that's one of the things that I know a lot of businesses tend to overlook is they don't see themselves as a subscription model. I've got a client, an attorney, and we actually created a subscription model for an attorney. And that was like, wait a minute, a subscription model? Yes, absolutely. And again, it completely changed the game for this particular client.
Yeah, it matters a lot. And I think everybody, we coach on that often. I think we have all of our pricing models include some sort of upfront, something monthly, and some kind of tail, something based on performance, right? So that way you're always, there's multiple ways of being paid. And it makes you more valuable, it increases your valuation. And there's been many a time where we didn't have the front end coming in, but thank God we had the monthly. Right. It saved us.
Right.
We didn't have all the revenue we wanted that month, but we had revenue. Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that can make a huge difference for any business during those lean times when you've got that monthly recurring revenue coming in. And again, when you really think about business as a whole, we know that it's 7 times more expensive to acquire a new client than to sell an existing one. So when you bring a client in the door and you've got that recurring revenue, you're making money without having to spend that cost of getting a client in the door.
Sales Team Ready is sponsored by Gain the Edge. If you're wondering how you'll hit your sales goals or hit your numbers, if you've experienced sluggish sales so far to this point, or you're just tired of hitting the same problems and challenges, let us talk. Let us see where we can get you unstuck. Right? Because we can create the systems, the processes, the strategies, and the sales teams that can help you move past where you're going and reach that mountaintop. Reach out, join us. Hey, the link is in the show notes, right? And talk to one of our GTE success advisors, see what we can do to get you up to that mountaintop. Yeah, amen. And I appreciate that you were just talking about being creative with giving people ways to pay you differently, because that's actually that's the planned quick hitter video I was going to do today is around that. About in times like this, one way that you can make more sales is find ways to meet people differently. Like even, can you give them a way to pay with crypto? I mean, what can you do to make people, giving them an easier yes? But in addition to that, what's the impact of closing sales differently? And like when you're talking to people in these times, when you're walking somebody across the finish line, what should people be thinking about as they are having conversion conversations with people, whether it's one-to-one or in videos, on webinars or what?
Well, you want to take in consideration where people are and what's going on in their minds. And that's why, as I mentioned, I was working on a new sales letter today, and the conversation is still the same in the general sense of what we're selling, but we're selling it in a very different way. So if you are selling a product for the purpose of getting a person from A to B, or A to Z, wherever you're taking people along there, that customer journey that you have in your business, your conversation of recession and financial challenges or pandemic, et cetera, can either accelerate that or it can completely disintegrate it, if you will. And how you choose to approach it is really what makes a difference. So what we're talking about now, instead of making more money, it's about shoring your business up and making your business recession proof. The principles are still the same, but we changed the conversation about making your business recession proof. And people are like, yes, I want that. How do I prepare my business for lean times? But again, on the back end, a lot of the principles are still the same. It's just that the conversation has slightly shifted based on what's going on in the world right now.
Yeah, it's a conversation that we're in every day. And, I do about 15 interviews and stages a week. And that's something people are asking me as a sales expert to speak into. It's like, how are people, how do we need to approach sales differently in uncertain times? And so that's something that is always top of mind when you guys are listening to people talk, whatever excuses and reasons and objections and stuff they have, real or imagined, whatever they had before is only on heightened alert now. So anybody who thought they couldn't afford it before is going to be 10 times more committed to believing they can't afford it now, because the media's got them scared. Their scrolls got them scared. They don't even know what to think. And so when you get fearful, most people retract. So you have to have the ability to touch them multiple times, because you might take more touches and invitations to get them to come out of their shell. You're going to have to be more certain, more confident, more clear. And you got to be able to have the right tools to help them, pry their death grip away from their resources so that they're doing the things that are allowing them to improve their life, whether it's health, finances, whatever it is you do with them. You have to take the duty and the responsibility to hone your skills and be a quality professional leader to help people make great decisions in these moments, so that they're making them
Right.
with confidence instead of fear.
Exactly. And here's the thing, Jim, and this is where I kind of go back to saying is that it fundamentally, the process doesn't change. It's about understanding that sometimes the target may move. And when the target moves, you adjust based on that target. And here's what I mean by that. As a sales professional, entrepreneur, leader, et cetera, you should always focus on selling people what they want, not what they need, selling them what they want. We always talk about this marketing 101, sell people what they want and give them what they need. Here's the thing. If that A to B still exists, but you've got a conversation going on about pandemic, there's a conversation going on about recession. What is it that they want? They want stability. They want certainty. They want fundamentally the same thing. But when you understand that their shift is, well, I don't know what's going to happen. Well, what gives you certainty of what happens are the words that comes out of my mouth as a sales professional. So that's why I say the sales letter that we're working on right now is giving people what they want right now. And they're wanting, again, certainty. They want to have a recession-proof business. So headline is different, intro is different, but at the end, the core body of that sales letter, and the same thing, it will be a sales pitch or sales conversation. The core of it's the same, but we're selling it through a different context. So with whomever you're dealing with as a sales professional, your end solution should solve the problem that they think they have at the time. And you create the context around what you do to fit what it is that person thinks they want. So if they're feeling uncertain, sell them certainty. If they're feeling the pinch, you sell them prosperity. If they're feeling fear, you sell them peace of mind. Your product is still the same. Your service is still the same, but you're selling it through the context of what your target audience or that particular prospect rather is thinking, feeling, and experiencing in that moment.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that perspective. And, make sure that you guys got to really be thinking about that. And you can't focus on what they're afraid of. You have to be the one person who's going to help them see that there's actually a hope. There's a solution. There's something.
Absolutely.
Because everybody, they got plenty of people telling them what to be afraid of. Right?
Yes.
You got to be the one to show them that they can overcome it.
Right. Being that light, being in the light in the midst of the darkness, being that guide, if you will, in the midst of chaos. You show up in that way, as you should with every sales presentation. You should be showing up in that way. And that's why I say the pandemic and recession, it's no different. You're still showing up as their knight in shining armor.
Absolutely. And making sure that you doing the preparation. We were actually talking to somebody on our team about that just yesterday. It's like, I do a lot of preparation for every single call, whether it's podcasts, whether it's a sales conversation, a partner discussion, no matter what it is. I want to make sure that I show up knowing who I'm talking to, what I'm talking about. Well, I want to make sure that you are being served. right?
Absolutely.
And even more so now, you cannot afford to not. You have to make sure you understand what exactly why somebody's on the call with you. What is your expectation? What you're supposed to be delivering, right? You're not showing
Absolutely.
up to sell stuff. You're showing up to deliver an outcome for them in this conversation that may lead to a sale.
I think it's a brilliant way of putting it, Jim. I always talk about that being a lighthouse. Most people are in a storm in murky waters, and you become that lighthouse that guides them to safety, and that is the beauty of sales, is that it's dynamic. It's different than marketing. You know, with marketing, when you're putting out your message, but when you're in that sales conversation, again, you know where their North Star is, you know where they're going, you know what direction they're heading. You become that, and then that's what gets them to buy.
Awesome. Yeah, I love this. You're so very in aligned. I mean, you're saying half the things that I say all the time. I mean, we're very on the same beat. So I love that. I definitely look forward to exploring more ways for us to do some work together.
Absolutely.
I have mentioned here of your fearless, you have a fearless impact, like concept, a
Mhm.
movement that you founded in 2020. And I just love the frame around that period. So as we get to, start wrapping up here, share the concept of the fearless impact. What is that about, and why should people be paying attention?
Yeah. So, Jim, as I mentioned, I've been in business for 30 years, and I have made a lot of money. I've lost a lot of money. And what I recognize again over the years, and just really being able to evaluate my life and looking at, what do I want my legacy to be? Do I want my legacy to be, this guy made a lot of money? Or do I want it to be, this person made a lot of impact? And that's really where where fearless impact came from. It was looking at me wanting to make this world a better place, wanting the world to have be better off, that because I've been here, versus being worse off, or versus no change, no impact whatsoever. So I knew I wanted to make an impact in some way, shape, or form. But through a lot of experiences that I've had, almost going to prison, getting divorced, losing everything in the, housing crash of '08, I also found that one of the things that was holding me back was fear. And we've heard the acronym false evidence appearing real.
Right.
But I really started researching and really understanding where fear comes from. Why does it exist? And how it impacts us, not just mentally and emotionally, but also physiologically. And when I started recognizing is that that's literally the thing between what we want and where we are and what we want is some level of fear, whether it's fear of I can't do it, fear of I don't know, fear of this outcome may happen, I may not get the thing, or I may get the thing and lose the thing. But it really boils down to some level of fear. And there was birthed fearless impact, is being able to break through these fears that prevent us from getting from where we are to where we want to be, in order to make an impact on the world. So you mentioned earlier that most entrepreneurs go in the business to, for financial freedom, time freedom, and also to make an impact. But here's the reality of it. If you're not doing the things that you need to do in your business, you can't make an impact. You can't make an impact. You have to be willing to get yourself out there. You have to be willing to do the things that you may be afraid of doing, the things that you don't know how to do, the things that you don't have, in place. You have to break through those things to get your message out, to make a real impact in the world, your community, or wherever or whomever you're serving. So fearless impact came from my own desires to break through some of the conversations that were holding me back, and that I found that others were dealing with in different ways through my research of fear itself. So, and I like to call it a movement, because it's not just another business where we're selling a widget. We are transforming people's mindset, transforming their lives, in order for them to go out and take their message into the world and, again, make an impact. So if I can't touch 50 million people myself. If I can touch 50 people who touch a million people, then I've touched 50 million. So that's really what Fearless Impact is all about.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm all in for that. I believe that wholeheartedly. It's one of the greatest rewards of our business is that, we touch hundreds of people who in turn touch thousands or hundreds of thousands. So we get to indirectly touch millions of lives. And that's one of the most rewarding parts about what we do. So I love that. How do people become part of the movement?
Well, you can, of course, just go to fearlessimpact.com, read about us there. If any of your listeners are interested in, continuing to grow and scale their businesses while still maintaining their lives, I've got a nice little package that I put together for your listeners. They can go to gettimebank.com/Jim. Again, gettimebank.com/Jim. It's a $497 package that I've put together just to help you guys more familiar with the processes around being able to grow and scale a business on 1 or 2 hours a day. Because again, if you're working all day and you're losing your life, then you lose your ability to make an impact.
Amen. So gettimebank.com/Jim. That'll be in the show notes as well, guys, as long with all of Antonio's connections. So make sure you find him on Facebook, find him on Twitter, on LinkedIn, wherever he is, wherever you are, that makes sense. And then reach out to him and say hello, check out his resources and talk to him. Obviously, he's got a lot of kindred spirit with what we do. So if you like me, you'll like him. He's going to help you see things differently and get you exploding. That's the whole objective. We are all about you reaching that mountaintop, whatever it takes, right? Because the people, like you said, you want to make massive impact. The reality is freedom requires financial freedom, and you got to make money, then you can go make all the impact that you want and serve in ways possible so that you're taken care of and the world is taken care of through you. All right. So appreciate you being here, Antonio. It's been a pleasure. I look forward to continuing the conversation, and we'll see you on the flip side.
Thank you so much, Tim. Glad to be here.
All right. So as usual, guys, thanks so much for trusting us to be part of your success team, for bringing us into your home, into your car, into your ears, wherever you are. So appreciate you, believe in you. What you do matters, and you deserve to be paid well for it. So go make it happen. If you have a specific need or a topic you want us to talk about, maybe a particular challenge you're wanting to address, right? Reach out and let us know. Right? We'll make sure that we get that addressed on an episode. Right? I would love to do topic and episodes around the topics that you say you need help with so that we are more relevant and valuable to you. Appreciate everything that you're doing. Let's make magic happen.